better. No, my Shaykh is better. No, my Shaykh is better. But our enemies, they are strong together. What happened? Where is the intelligence? Faith and intelligence has to be together. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He sent Adam alayhi salam to the world, to the earth, sending Jibril alayhi salam to Adam alayhi salam with 3 gifts: intelligence, modesty, and faith. Intelligence, aql, which we have lost these days. Modesty, haya. Modesty will teach a man things, so many things, naturally, because it is inside of us. You don't have to go looking through books. Just knowing where the boundaries of halal and haram are, that Allah has put inside a man. These kids, they know the boundaries. Divine wisdom comes. And faith, iman. Adam alayhi salam then was presented with these 3 gifts. And Adam alayhi salam looked and he chose intelligence, aql. Then Jibreel alayhi salam ordered the other 2, faith and haya, to return back to the heavenly stations. Faith says, nope, I cannot do that. Jibreel says, why? Allah has ordered me, wherever there is intelligence, I must be there. Then Jibreel alayhi salam says, no, haya, modesty, you go back, because you don't have the permission to stay here with Adam alayhi salam. Modesty is saying, no, I cannot do that either, because Allah has ordered me, wherever there is faith, you must be present. So now, we have honored the children of Adam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Holy Quran, وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي Adam. He did not say وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا مَلَائِكَةً or the other ones. He says, and we have honored the children of Adam. And to come back to being a child of Adam, the children of Adam. When Adam alayhi salam and us, we were created to represent Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to remember Him, to know Him, and to worship Him. And that was not given to the angels or to the others, only to man, because our reason of creation is to represent Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All others come behind. Working, children, world is behind. But first, our reason of creation is to know Allah and to worship Him. Allah is saying, I created the ins and the jinns to know me and to worship me. You cannot worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without knowing Him. Impossible. You may go up and down. That's not worshiping, because you don't know. You cannot love Him. So many saying love is the highest love, love ashq. You cannot love Him if you don't know Him. How to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is not Christianity or Judaism, but thousands of years people still trying to figure out basic things about their own akidah. Is He a man or God? Or is it mixed? Or is it separate? Or is it sometimes whole, sometimes separate, or sometimes they still cannot come into agreement? 2,000 years. The split, the schism between the East and the West Christianity is because of that. So many other reasons, of course, but I'm talking about pure Aqidah. But in Islam, it's clear. It's settled, it's complete, it's perfect. Now start to build this world. Now start to build a civilization. Now start to give justice and adil and bring the light of justice and adl that is coming from the heavens to everyone. Let them to know of my mercy, Allah is saying. Because Holy Prophet is sent, Rahmatil lil Alameen, the mercy to all the nations, not only to Muslims, not only to Arabs, to all the nations. And that mercy continues today. Now, for that mercy and that faith and that haya, that modesty, which you don't have to be a saint or a scholar to know now, like what we said. It's not too much modesty that is happening in this world right now. They're not teaching our children modesty. If anything, they say, don't teach them. Don't teach them shame. Don't teach them that shame is wrong. They must not know that shame is wrong. Especially living here, we know how it is. No, you must be proud of whatever that you are. But modesty, haya, and shame is part of that. It's in our fitrat. It's in our natural disposition that Allah has given to everyone, not only to certain group of people saying, these are my chosen ones, they are the ones who can know me, all the rest cannot. Like our brothers are saying, we are the chosen one. Everyone else has half animal spirit and half human, and they are to be our slaves. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا Bani Adam. He didn't say which other Bani that is, Bani Adam. Everyone. Because of the mercy of the Prophet ﷺ. So, to know Allah then, how are we going to know Allah? How are we going to know Allah? That again is not something that Holy Prophet ﷺ is keeping hidden. That for 1400 years again you have alims and ulamas coming up with so many different ideas. Don't let them to fool you. Don't let them to say, oh, now the doors of ijtihad must open. Because we're living in completely different times and different people. And so now is the time where we have to make up minority fiqh. We need to reinterpret fiqh and Aqidah and Hadith and Quran. On the one hand, you have people who are saying Quran alone, Quraniyun. They're saying we don't accept any Hadith because Hadith is coming from man. Man is fallible. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing on the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu sallu ala nabi. Allah and His angels, they give praises to the Prophet. Oh, you who believe. He didn't say, oh mankind. He didn't say, oh Muslims. He says, oh you who believe. And you will find believers from Muslims and from non-Muslims. This country, so many things in this country it is correct to. So many things in this country, from the laws that they hold on, it is correct to. Because they took from Islam. Because they studied the Ottoman Empire. And they took from Islam, and they say this is just, and this is good. We have to give everyone their rights. It's not complete. It's not an Islamic nation, but because they took the foundation, there is Islam there somewhere, there is blessings. If there is no blessings, we will not be here today. You know how difficult it is in our own home countries. Our Shaykh, Rahmatullah alayh, himself, he cannot even dress in a turban in Turkey, where 50 years ago everyone was wearing turbans. He cannot have a zikr in the house. The police will come banging on the doors and arrest him. And they did. They arrested him in his own house because he called azan. And they banned taqiyas, they banned dergahs, they banned zikrs, they banned shaykhs. This is against. You can curse to Allah and His Prophet. The law is saying over there. But you cannot curse to the founder of our nation. We will bring you to the prison. Now, the balance is off. We're living in where the awliya Allah, the holy people, saying, Ahir Zaman, the end of times, second Jahiliyyah. Worse than the first Jahiliyyah. You will find people who are sincere and they come together, but they're going to be a minority. As Hazrat Abu Bakr asked the Holy Prophet ﷺ, because he said, in the Akhir Zaman, Holy Prophet ﷺ saying, the believers, they will be like snakes. I'm paraphrasing the hadith to make it easy for everyone to understand. It's a very strange term to use, isn't it? Snakes, usually, it's not so good. It's negative. So Hazrat Abu Bakr, the peer of our tariqat, saying, asking Holy Prophet to explain a little bit more. He says, because in the Akhir Zaman, the believers, you will see that they leave their houses secretly and they come back to their houses secretly. They will not be so free to declare their faith and to live their faith. You know, snakes, they're not out there to attack us. When we step on the ground and the vibrations is sent to them, they pick up. They're the ones who scurry away first. And you see, believers, a few sincere ones, they're finding, their hearts are pulling, and they're finding a place where they can secretly come and meet too. We just came back from somewhere where a few years ago I went there to make a zikr. We were invited. Of course, in the middle of the zikr, those ones who hate tariqat and hate Ahl Sunnat way and saying, no, this is all bid'at and wrong, and we are the correct ones, coming in trying to break up the zikr. Bid'ah, saying, scolding us and everything. We continued. We're calling out the Asma al-Husna. They said, still saying. They got especially upset when we say Ya Ali. They think we are calling on Hazrat Ali. Ali is the name of Allah. So what? We're calling. We're calling not only Hazrat Ali to be in this presence here tonight, we're calling on Hazrat Abu Bakr. We're calling on all 124,000 Sahabis to bless this gathering, inshallah. And we're calling on 124,000 prophets to bless this gathering. So Allah loves beautiful niyats. Why we have to be stingy with our niyat? Make our niyat, make our intention to be as huge, as wide as possible. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the Holy Prophet ﷺ, He did not close the door to make it impossible for us to find out how to know Allah. This Prophet is saying, he who knows himself knows his Lord. So now it comes back full circle. He who knows himself knows his Lord. So the whole secret now is to know yourself. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put the knowledge of Himself in us. And that is the time when we are saying, yes, how are we going to know ourselves now? How are we going to be able to know our physical form? You need a reflection, you need a mirror. The eye can see the whole galaxy, but it cannot see itself. That time you think we can see what is in our heart, in our spirit. And these reflectors, these mirrors, are the inheritors of the Prophet ﷺ. That if we hold on to them, they will show us who we are, and what we have to do to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For what? To fulfill the reason of our creation, which is to know Allah and to worship Him. Inshallah Rahman, may Allah bless our week gathering and our week service. We are not declaring that we are something. We are saying that we are nothing. We are not declaring that we are holy, we are awliya, we are this and that. No. Because we want to be the servants of Allah. We want to be the weak servants of Allah. Because Allah loves His servants. Holy Prophet ﷺ, in the Dalailul Khairat, his over 200 names he has. In the Al-Hayrat, you have his secret name, the Ismul Azam of the Prophet, that Imam Jazuli, radiallahu an, his wife, had that Ismul Azam of the Prophet, the greatest name of the Prophet. He was a big saint and scholar. She was also a big saint, but she was hidden. He didn't know. He didn't know the station of his own wife. So don't look at people like they are nothing. Maybe they are something. Maybe they are a hidden friend of Allah. Islam is teaching us that so that we treat everyone with justice and with kindness. Like they say in Ottoman Turkish, treat every night like it is Laylatul Qadr. And treat everyone as if they're Hizr alayhi salam, Khidir alayhi salam. This isn't philosophy. For 1400 years, Islam is built on that. That's why we have Islamic empires. We have civilization, high civilization, both in terms of the dunya knowledge and also the spiritual knowledge. Both you need to have. We are not too impressed when people tell us, Muslims were making eye surgery 800 years before the West, they discovered this. We're supposed to. But dunya knowledge, zahir knowledge, is still lower than batin knowledge. The secret knowledge, the spiritual knowledge is still high. When you have both coming together, then we say, yes, that is good, that is balanced. But that comes with wisdom. Like how it was during the Ottoman Sultan's time, Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. They had the technology at that time, and this is recorded history, that they built the first rocket in the world. And it took off. And the Sultan says, cover that knowledge. Don't open it. Because that is only knowledge of the Akhir Zaman. And that kind of knowledge is not for now. Because that kind of knowledge, it is very dangerous. We will be responsible for it. Because if it is not balanced with spiritual knowledge, people are going to go astray. Isn't that exactly what is happening now with technology? Nations are going crazy with technology. Nations are going crazy with technology, not to provide water for the poor, not to provide electricity for the countryside to raise the civilization of the people, but they're rushing. Their people are suffering and dying, and they are collecting money to buy weapons of mass destruction, to buy nuclear arms, to race. Why you have to race? Because India has, so we also have to have. Wrong ideas. Holy Prophet ﷺ has already given us a sign how to live in each time. He has already told us what is it that we need to know. And he has already guided his Sahabi who passed that knowledge to the Tabi'in and to the Tabi'in continuously until Judgment Day, because Islam, it is a chain. It is never unbroken. Anyone who's claiming we're not connected to any chain, there is an open hadith for that. Holy Prophet is saying you're going to find people that they're going to talk about religion that never you or your father or your grandfather has ever heard before. Don't follow them. They're going to invent new things. Don't follow them, because Islam is not his chain. Hold on firmly to the rope of Allah and do not separate. Now, when Allah SWT, He has given the biggest job to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, to bring the entire ummah back to him, as he brought the entire ummah into existence. Every child is born innocent and pure. And Allah SWT is saying, "O my Prophet, you are to bring them back to me, pure and innocent." And that happened in the cave. Cave? Which cave? Hira. In the cave of Hira? No. the cave of Thawr, the first zikr. No? There was Thawr. Okay. When Holy Prophet, he didn't run away from mushriks. Never think Holy Prophet is running away. He never runs away. Allah gave him order to move from Mecca to Medina, but instead of making what they call a beeline straight to Medina, he backtracked. He went to some other place, to the cave. I believe some of you have been there, no? So you know it's not. It doesn't make logical sense because there is a secret there. He went there with who? Hazrat Abu Bakr, radiallahu an, the second of the two. And he went inside the cave. And Hazrat Abu Bakr sat, Holy Prophet, and put his head on Hazrat Abu Bakr's lap, and he went to sleep. He didn't go to sleep. Some heaviness was coming. Some divine meeting was about to happen. Hazrat Abu Bakr then sat there. Imagine, put ourselves into that situation. These are not stories. Put ourselves. The most beloved one to us is there. The whole world is chasing to kill you, to finish you. Instead of finding safety, you are here now in this situation where any time they may come and they may finish you. So he sat. Hazrat Abu Bakr saw a hole in front of him, a snake hole. So he put his foot there to close it. The snake was biting him. The pain was through every single cell in his body. He didn't move because Prophet was sleeping. But tears started to fall. Then it fell on the face of the Prophet ﷺ. Prophet woke up. The Prophet ﷺ says, Ya Abu Bakr, you are afraid? You are filled with fear? Hazrat Abu Bakr says, no, Ya Rasulullah. I'm not fearing for myself. But I'm fearing that those animals, they're going to come to finish you. And I cannot defend you. Holy Prophet said, don't worry, Abu Bakr. If they come through here, we escape through there. Prophet moved his hand and the whole back wall disappeared, and you can see a shore and endless oceans reaching. Then Prophet looked at his foot and saw it was swollen from the snake bite. Then Prophet summoned the snake, saying, come out. Saying, don't you know that the flesh of a Siddiq, it is forbidden for you to harm? That the flesh of a Siddiq, it is also forbidden for the earth to touch, to grind. And the snake says, it's time to speak now. The snake saying, Ya Rasulullah, as you know, I did that because he blocked the hole. I wanted to see you. I've been waiting in this hole for thousands of years to see you. The knowledge came that you are going to be here, and I was waiting for you. Prophet started smiling at that time. And it's a long story. You know then what happened with the spiders and with the pigeons. That's why the spider relationship also with the Naqshbandis is very strong. In the cave it is very strong. Because in that situation, Allah sent them there to make the first Khatme Khwajagan, what we're about to make, inshallah. The first zikr of the Naqshbandi order that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then, in the presence of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, saying, O my beloved one, I charge you with this duty. Allah then made him to see his ummah And he looked, and his ummah was the biggest. And his ummah was the most beautiful. And his ummah was the highest. And in reality, his ummah, the station that his ummah, regular man or woman, the station, even the prophets, they are envious of the station that we have. Imagine now the awliya Allah, the walis coming from this ummah. Then he looked, slowly all that beauty started to turn and start to become ugly. And he started to become very sad. And that ugliness and that blackness is coming because of the mistakes and the wrong actions and all the wrong things that this ummah is doing. And Allah SWT is saying, "O my beloved one, your job is to return this ummah as I created them, pure and beautiful." Holy Prophet is saying, "Ya Rabbi, this job is too big for me. I'm asking you for help. I'm asking you to send me help." And that is when Allah SWT then says, "I will send you the help of the awliya Allah, of the saints of Allah. I will send you specifically the awliya Allah coming from our lineage, in the Naqshbandi way." Then he started to call all the Naqshbandi shaykhs that is going to come to existence from that time until Judgment Day. And they came as lights. And also summoned the Mureeds of those shaykhs from that time until Judgment Day. And they were all there present. And in the spiritual power of Abdulkerim Gujwani, the first one, the pir of the zikr of our tariqat, he led the first zikr. That is why we're saying, in the Naqshbandi way, even if you attended one time the zikr of the Naqshbandi way, you are in our way. You are in our tariqat because we were there in that cave. We were there. You just have to remember. What is remembering? Zikr. Inshallah Rahman, slowly in that time, when we are walking along this way, we will remember that day. Not only that day, we will remember the day of promises, where we stood in front of our Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't think we stood alone in front. No. Always the Prophet ﷺ is in front of us. And as Ahli Tariqat, it is bad manners for us to say we're standing behind the Prophet, isn't it? Meaning our shaykhs were always there. And they are the ones who instructed us now. When Allah SWT is saying, "Am I not your Lord?" Alastu bi rabbikum. And they inspire us to say, "Qalu bala." We were close there. That's the reason we are close now. Inshallah Rahman, may Allah forgive us. Our aim is to become servant. Just to finish the story that I'm telling you. The name, Holy Prophet ﷺ has hundreds, thousands of names. But he has his greatest name too. That even Imam Jazuli, he did not know, but his wife knew. At night time, he went to sleep. Wife was there. He woke up in the middle, wife was gone. Morning time, wife came back. You know this, according to Sharia, this is very heavy. Especially at that time. But he knew something unusual is happening. He is a saint. So the next night, he kept himself awake. Middle of the night, the wife woke up, started walking. He followed. Wife started walking, he followed. Walking, 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 until the wife reached the shore. When the wife reached the shore, she said something. Then from the middle of the ocean, two huge lions started to come out, swimming right in front of her. She's petting them like pussycats. And she put her hands on them, one on each side, and they swam together. They went into the ocean. He's saying, what is going on? He went back, sat down. After a while, his wife came back. After some time, he confronted her. She said, yes, every night I'm invited to the majlis of the Holy Prophet. I'm going. He said, you're going? He said, yes. He's a big saint. But his wife is going. Saying, because I know the Ismul Azam of the Prophet. Allah has Ismul Azam. Prophet ﷺ has one too. A special name. Then he said, you have to let me know. She says, no, there is no permission for me to tell you. But collect every salawat that you know, find, put it together. I may tell you if it's there or not. So that's what he did, and he compiled the Dalail al-Hayrat, the Dalail al-Sharif that is in our way. Permission is given to read. It's divided into 8 hizbs. Read. It's okay. Especially in these days. No special permission for that. Because the al-Hayrat is different. The other kinds of salawats, they are very heavy. The other kinds of salawats that is not too good for you to read without permission, without izn, because he may burn you. For example, there's one reciting the names of the Ashabul Badr. That's very Jalal. It's Jalali. There's others, Jafshani Kabir, that Jibreel alayhi salam is also teaching to recite. It gives you full of Jalal. That's not too good to read. The al-Sharif is okay. He collected, he showed it to her. She says, yes, the name is in there. It's hidden that is in there. That's why if you read it, and if you read it properly, you may dream of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He may come to you. But Prophet was asked, which one of your names is the most special and valuable to you? And he's saying, Abdullah. Out of all the names that he has, all of the descriptions, he says Abdullah, the servant of Allah. And in our way, out of all the titles, we're saying we just want to be Allah's servant, Abdullah. May Allah grant us to be His servant, inshallah. May Allah forgive us. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. Al-Fatiha.